It shows an alternative lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Alternative lifestyle.
That's
not the right word.
We don't live an alternative lifestyle.
You gonna play the clip?
Your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken with Mr. Wade.
Well, no, look. I object.
Mr. Wade visits you at the place you laid your head.
When? So the 2 cruises, I gave him money for those before we ever left.
If you did go out to dinner, who paid?
He paid, I paid.
Did you ever pay him through Cash App?
No.
You only ever paid him through cash?
Well, yes.
The only money you've ever given him outside of a contract is cash.
I didn't give him money in a contract, so that was cute. Don't be cute with me.
Why are you looking at me? Welcome back.
Welcome back.
All right.
Wait, what's going on here?
I don't know.
Stress hair?
The white one?
Yep.
It's a white one?
Yes.
Old dog.
I live inside my own.
Welcome back. Don't tell me what to do. Welcome back to the channel. What you want to get into today?
Okay, so
what we got going on today?
I'm fired up. Fani?
Fani.
I like to say Fanny because
Fannie Mae.
I just think Fannie Mae, Fanny. That Fanny is just.
So Fani Willis.
Fani Willis
got on the stand in her court case. I guess that's what you call it.
It's a hearing to disqualify or allow her to stay on the Trump trial.
My initial reaction of her whole being on the witness stand, being questioned, was this lady is a boss. So I was watching something, I fell asleep. I woke up about 3 in the morning and it was on. I was blown away. She was controlling the courtroom. I never seen anyone in that chair control the courtroom like that.
Same. My first reaction was like this emoji.
I thought it was funny.
Why'd you think it was funny?
Because the way modern women are today, it was funny to see go out there and embarrass women like that.
You felt like it was a pinnacle moment because it was like exposing all of the characteristics of a modern woman, and at the same time it was also embarrassing.
It was a bad day for black women. But she was a boss.
Yeah, she was.
And,
I mean,
she controlled the situation. She paid for the guy. Right? That was the whole.
He got flued out.
Yeah, he got flued out. They trying to see where the money came from or whatever.
Yeah. So basically, this is like a misconduct case. They're saying that she hired this man, her lover, as Trump called her. Allegedly, he does not have enough experience, and that's kind of what tipped people off. You know, let's investigate this guy. He doesn't have a lot of experience in racketeering and RICO cases. The only thing that he's ever done was been a private defense lawyer. So it was like, who's this guy with this thin resume? Now they're looking into the financials and they're saying, hey, what are all these trips? Where's all this cash being exchanged? Where's this money coming from? Were you guys paid by someone to go after Trump? That's the kind of like the conspiracy theory. No, that's the conspiracy theory. That's kind of underlying there. I think at one point Miss Mercer actually asked her, are you being paid? And then she was cut off or whatever.
That's probably what they're trying to get to.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to allude to. They don't have evidence to that. They only have evidence to the trip and the relationship.
She's gonna walk because she's a boss.
Okay, but then why do you think she embarrassed herself?
So when we get our next house, I'm gonna get a basement, a man cave, right? I'm gonna put a picture of her in that chair, laid back in the chair with her finger on her chin. I'm gonna put a big old picture up in the man cave.
Next to who?
Next to New Jack City.
Who from New Jack City? What was his name? See, you would have took my card if I didn't know this.
I would have took your card.
Nino Brown.
Yeah.
So you have a picture of
I will
Fani.
put a picture of Fani in my man cave in
Next
that
to
chair
Nino.
next to Nino Brown. That's how big of a boss she was.
Okay, but then why do you think it's an embarrassment then? If she's as iconic to be next to the great Nino Brown.
They're both a detriment to our community. Put it like that.
That is true.
But they're both bosses, like gangsters.
Yeah. That leads us to our clip.
Let's get to the clip.
You picked up on this. You sent this to me. Let's check it out.
Mister, let's go on and have the conversation.
I just asked you whether or not it was a coincidence.
Had absolutely nothing to do with this. It's interesting that we're here.
She wanted to talk about this so bad. She tried to talk about it like 2 or 3 times. She wanted to establish herself as his equal. She didn't need no man. She wanted to establish that right away. The judge, I think, tried to get her out of it, but just a modern woman for you, you know,
She was like, let's just have the conversation.
Mr. Wade is used to women that, as he told me one time, the only thing a woman can do for him is make him a sandwich.
That's loaded, right?
So that's something that's been said since the late great Kevin Samuels, right? It is a big deal for men. Men don't need much from anybody, let alone a woman. Like, they don't need much from anyone. Men look at women like, look, just do this for me and we can ride. I don't need your money. That's all I need you to do is make me a sandwich, help me around the house, you know, do your part, which is not a bad thing. A lot of modern women make it seem like it's a bad thing. That's how most men feel.
That's just a part of life. Like, men are supposed to be the protectors and providing for the household. Why would they need a woman to do anything other than play more of a domesticated role in the household? I don't think that that's to be taken like in a derogatory way. It's a man asserting himself as a man and saying, hey, I got this. I can take care of myself. I can take care of a family. I'm handling my business. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing as a man. I don't need a woman to do anything for me because I got it covered.
And that makes me feel like a man that I can take care of you.
Right.
That makes me feel like I'm doing my part. You're doing your part, I'm doing my part. I'm taking care of you, I'm protecting you, I'm treating you like a queen, like you want to be treated. You don't have to work. Fani, she ain't really on that time. She on some, I don't need you to do nothing for me.
In the terms of Fani, let's have the conversation. So she is a modern woman. She's got an education behind her. She's got a JD, but she's an educated woman. She's originally from Inglewood, okay? Inglewood. She's from LA. She's got this like sassy boss chick vibe about her. She's worked her way up the ranks all the way to DA of Fulton County. She feels a certain type of way about herself. I can see how that would trigger her to fire back because she is a modern woman and she has fought her way up the ranks and she feels a certain sense of entitlement and respect, somewhat similar to what a man would think that they should get. Not saying that she should get that, but that's what these types of women feel like they deserve when they're in these roles.
Like, she is a modern woman and she pretty much is on the same level as Mr. Wade.
We would have brutal arguments about the fact that I am your equal. I don't need anything from a man. A man is not a plan. A man is a companion.
So a man will never be a companion being on the same level as a woman. That's just not gonna happen.
I think this falls into that ideology that women have that I don't need a man, I want a man.
But what's the alternative?
Well, she's single.
Exactly.
That's the alternative. It didn't work out with Nathan Wade, who would be considered a high value man, right? He's an attorney, hired as a special prosecutor, making multiple six figures. So I would say he's a high value man.
I think a true high value man would never be dealing with a woman.
No, but maybe this is a lesson learned for him.
To each his own.
That's the one thing about men can bounce back. He's 40, she did 50 big, my bad. So he's 50, but at any point as a man, they don't have the father time on their back. He can go and start a family tomorrow with a younger wife and get married and start all over again. Whereas Fani, even if she does eventually find a companion, she's not probably gonna have the same options. Not probably, she does not have the same, let's just keep it real. She ain't got the same options as Nathan Wade. So unfortunately, like, her making these statements probably makes her feel better about the situation that they ended, but it holds no relevance to reality. There's a little bit of delusion there in that statement.
Tension always in our relationship, which is why I would give him his money back. I don't need anybody to foot my bills. The only man who's ever foot my bills completely is my daddy.
Said back, look at she's like that. Nino Brown.
And she's exaggerating there, but like brutal arguments about the fact that she is his equal. That's the reason why she would pay him back in the cash from Publix.
I mean, we've seen this so many times. The reason why men and women don't get along is because women want to be their equal. Like, we seen it somewhat with Kanye and Kim. Kanye wanted her to sit down, slow down.
Wanted her to be a wife and a mother.
Yeah.
Because he was okay with her being a boss. Like, it was the issue around this over-sexualization of herself when she was now a wife and a mother. He felt like she shouldn't be exposing her body in that way because he wanted her to be an example to their children. Her stance was like, this lady, like, she's like, I've always done this. This is how I built my brand. You married me on this brand, so what's the problem? And while a lot of women might agree with that doesn't necessarily mean that that's correct
or the right thing
to do. Is that all that's important to these boss women? Is it the money and the perception, or
they're gonna be alone?
Or do you have any other morals or values that you can contribute?
Where would Fannie, I call it Fannie Mae again, where would she go from here as a modern woman? You're gonna have a lot of modern women behind her, which is a lot of them out there. So you're gonna have a lot of modern women backing her. She might get some offers for interviews or
book deals
or
you were
TV
saying talk
shows.
show.
Yep.
She might be the next talk show host.
She's gonna get famous because of this, because she is a modern woman, and because there is so many modern women today that will champion her. Yeah,
I don't know,
probably
like
not.
the cards are up in the air for her, because even though she does have modern women behind her, you know, if you look closely, you also see people saying, wow, this is an eye-opener.
Right.
Are we putting people in position because they're qualified,
Yeah.
or are we putting people in position because they have a status, they're black or they're gay?
Will the young modern women come up and they look at her, or will young women period come up and look at her like, that's what I want to be like?
Maybe. So it's a double-edged sword. I don't know, but I do think that she will probably be viral, continue to be viral for a while, but I do think it will die down.
But men are sitting back like laughing at this, because men have been trying to tell women all this time, like, that is not the way to go. This modern feminist movement or whatever is going on, that's not the way to go. Breaking up families is destroying the communities. It's just the wrong way to go. We should be coming together instead of being separated or divided.
Well, let's talk
based off somebody making a sandwich, you know.
Right. Segueing into breaking up of the families, she has not answered that question clearly. The timeline is not clear, but several people have testified to some sort of relationship between them, at least as far back as 2019. There's a possibility that there was a marriage that was broken up as a result of this situation. The breaking up of the families, you know, we always talked about there is a housing shortage, and what could potentially be the cause of that housing shortage. Obviously, we know we live in Los Angeles, so there is definitely a limited amount of space to actually build new developments. But then on the other hand, the inventory that is available is just too many people.
Right.
So why is that?
So let's get into the economics of women working and there being two separate households. So the housing shortage pretty much is due to the baby mama having a house and then the daddy having a house or an apartment or whatever.
In your opinion,
Different,
you feel like that
different
could be
residents.
causing it.
Right, because it's supply and demand, right? The less women and men that are renting on their own separately, they could be renting one house or one apartment together, which would save the family money, which would put more rentals or houses on the market, which would lower the payment. The economics of women going out to work, it's almost like it was crafted. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Explain supply and demand real quick, because some people may not know. You said it would lower the payment, so explain what
So
that
supply
is.
and demand, if you have more goods than the demand, the price of the goods have to come down in order to meet the demand.
Okay, so in terms of the housing, if you have a ton of houses and a smaller number of people that want those houses than the houses that are available, then the price of those houses will go down, or the rent on those houses will go down, because they're competing with each other and they want to bring in those people. So
the seller of those houses will have to lower their price in order to get those few buyers to come in and purchase their house. It's a competition, but it's a supply and demand. The place where they cross is the equilibrium. Just the dynamic of there being two separate households, both paying rent or mortgage. That's a huge deal to supply of housing.
I agree.
Not only to the supply of housing, basically the entire economic system is built on people having two separate households.
Cost of living.
Cost of living. In a perfect world, right? Let's say men and women got along and there was families, the family unit. What are some of the outcomes you think would come from that?
If marriages went up again statistically, I do think that there would be less people competing for jobs, because now you may not have to work depending on how much your husband will make. And if there's less people competing for jobs, then that means that it can be a one-income household again, like it used to be.
And also, adding to that, jobs, real quick, men will get paid more because a lot of women out of the workforce, jobs will have to compete for
those men that are available to work.
Right. So they will have to pay men more to come work for them.
Right.
And that would balance the scales of a woman not working, right? The man got a raise.
A raise.
Right. Their income will go up because there's less labor in the job force. Women are going home now. So there's less labor. So companies will have to compete for talent. They will have to pay more for people to come work for them.
Supply and demand.
Right, supply and demand. Everything is supply and demand.
But you were saying that would hurt us.
That could hurt the economy because there could be deflation. The price of houses would go down. The price of cars would go down. The price of goods, period, would go down because now there would be one grocery bill instead of two.
Right. And that might lead us to somewhat of a plateau again, because we experienced severe inflation during the pandemic. We went as high as like almost 10.5%, and now it's starting to go back down. Could we stand to see a little bit of deflation? And I know historically that meant a bad economy, but recession is also a bad economy. Nobody's saying we're in a recession right now, but people are kind of saying we're in a recession.
I mean, we don't know that.
We don't know,
but we could be.
We could be, or we could be heading towards one. I predicted that it would happen like around second or third quarter.
That's just one of the things that's like a what if. Even if women continue to work, coming together in one household is still ideal, because now you can save up for one down payment on the house instead of
living in two separate places.
It all makes sense that we work together, but like I said, it seemed like it's been constructed since the 60s. The feminist movement, somebody is pulling the strings.
I was gonna send you that article because I thought that people were waking up to say like, hey women, I think you should get married. It's actually a good business deal.
Yeah, it is.
But after reading the article, they were actually complaining about all the benefits that you get when you get married.
But I think by getting women to leave the household and go work, I think we have stretched ourselves to the limits of inflation, the prices of things, supply and demand, the more goods we buy. And I think that's a goal for America, to be a consumer society.
That's where we are right now. People are spending like crazy. There's not a lot of savings, there's not a lot of disposable income.
And it seems like something is happening.
But what I was gonna say is our society definitely still benefits marriage. There's tax benefits to marriage. Different little things that still benefit you if you are
having
married.
Kids.
Having kids and having, you get those whether you're married or not.
But still.
But you can't file jointly on your taxes and get the benefits of that if you're not married.
Just the family dynamic of having two parents in a household.
But do you think that people can live off of one income now?
Now. Yeah, I do. I think a household can live off one income today. It'll be hard with the rising price of everything and inflation, but if they sacrifice and work together, I think for sure it can happen. Save their money, hustle, find some extra ways to get money. They can make it off one income.
All in all, we tied this economic thing back to the Fani thing, but I think it's all relevant. Because even her, she's like, are y'all gonna tell me how to spend my money? She has tax liens, and she's a typical modern woman.
And I haven't seen anybody spend it like that. Talk about the actual money and what it's doing.
The economics of the modern woman.
I haven't seen anybody spend it that way, especially with her. She's in a high profile, she makes a lot of money, and she's single. And she's a mess.
She has cash all around the house. Fani got cash from her blood, sweat, and tears.
Flew people out, flew them out.
Yeah, she should have made the sandwich.
So we got the power of AI coming. So men and women might not need each other anymore.
No, they could be like, hi John Jay, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Siri. And it's a wrap. That's all the man needs. It's sweet. Good morning. You have an appointment.
Are you hungry? I'll make you a sandwich.
Are you hungry? I will order you a sandwich. It's on the way.
Women don't understand that this AI stuff is very scary. It can go left real quick.
Egg banks in the future.
That could be a thing in the future.
You heard it here first.
Egg banks.
Men are going to say, you know what? I want to raise a kid on my own.
Yep, and me and AI Siri.
Me and AI Siri, we're going to start a family. Yep. There's so much that could come from men and women dividing.
Yep, I think that's it, huh?
That's it.
All right.
Thanks for watching. If you hung out with us this far, hey, you're part of the crew at this point. So go ahead and like, share, subscribe.
Yeah. Engage in the comments. Let us know how y'all feel about some of these topics. We'll engage back. Even if it's crazy, we'll take it.
We'll take it. We're strong.
All right. Let's
One for the books.
Let's go get some Subway.
Yep.